My people. We saw Brian Norman Jr. win in spectacular fashion this weekend. And he wants to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. So there you have it. That's the magic question. Do we want to see Brian Norman Jr. and Jaron Boots Ennis mix it up in the ring? We know that Boots got Stanionis ahead of him. He got to get past that opponent, who's a very good one, a very tough opponent. He's going to be the favorite. I think most of us expect him to win that fight. But at the end of the day, a unification showdown between Boots and Norman Jr. is what a lot of people want to see. William P., what's the deal, my G? LLYY, yo, what up, my G? What's the deal, my brother? Güero, good morning, my guy. Y'all see it, man. That's the magic question. Jaron Boots Ennis, Brian Norman Jr. Should Eddie Hearn pay Brian Norman Jr. what he wants? Does he deserve to get that payday? I believe so. And by the way, with that explosive knockout that we witnessed on Saturday, his stock is on the rise. His stock is moving up. So you got to pay him. You got to pay him. You got to make that fight happen. Somebody was telling me that Brian Norman is not worth it, that Eddie Hearn is not going to pay him. John Parham, salute, my brother. You know, I even had people in the comment section of the video that I did on Brian Norman Jr. telling me, no, he's not worth it. And the good old narrative of who he beat, he's not a big star. But I believe, you know, with him being a champion, him holding that belt, and Jaron Boots Ennis, he wants to be undisputed. He wants to unify titles. They got to pay. They got to pay to get that fight. And as a fighter, you know, you have to know your worth. I respect Brian Norman Jr. and his pops for saying, nah, yo, y'all got to pay us. You got to pay me. This is a big fight. This is a unification fight. You can't lowball me. Can't. I agree with him. And we saw the type of performance that he put together. We saw how good he is. Pay the guy, man. We want to see the fight. It's a fight a lot of fans want to see. It's going to generate a lot of money. It's going to generate a lot of views. John Parham, you should have seen and heard Senior on Mill City last night with Greg Hackett. It was a shit show. I have an interview with Brian Norman Senior on this channel. I spoke with him, and he told me straight up that, you know, they want that fight, but they got to pay him, bro. Lucky Luciano, hello from Poland. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in, man. John Parham, he earned his pay for sure. I agree. We already see that Brian Norman Jr., the way he operates in the ring, he's an assassin. Killer. Got power like crazy in both hands. Accurate puncher. Y'all seen the way that fight ended with a 3-4 hit combination that sent his opponent to Valhalla. That man didn't even know that he had been knocked out. You got to make that fight. You got to make that fight. And look, Jaron Boots Ennis, I know that he cannot look past his opponent. We can. We're not getting in the ring. We're not going to get punched in the face. But Boots, I know he's focused 100% on Eimantas Stanionis. I know. He, you know, very good fighter, tough opponent. And I think this is probably even going to be Boots' toughest competition to date. When we see this fight play out, we're going to also understand how good Stanionis actually is. Those who haven't seen him fight. Stanionis can fight. He got power. You know, he's not going to get washed by Boots. This is going to be a competitive fight. But I do see Boots winning it. And then from there, this is what needs to happen. Boots versus Norman Jr. Eddie Hearn needs to make that fight happen. I don't know why, you know, they chose not to pay him. Or they made a couple of offers. I know that, and Eddie Hearn addressed it. He said that they came back and they made another offer. I think they made two more offers, and Brian Norman Jr. and his pops wasn't having it. But you have to understand, he holds a belt. There's a value in that, my peoples. If you feel like you're not getting paid your worth, it's okay to turn down an offer that you don't think is good for you. I don't knock them. It's different when a guy asks for an amount of money that he knows he's not going to get paid. He knows he's just trying to duck some crazy offer or trying to put some crazy terms in the contract to get out of the fight. That's different. Brian Norman Jr. is saying, yo, pay me what I'm worth. I want to fight him. He want to fight Boots, so it's not like, he came up with a crazy number to try to get himself out of that fight. Brian Norman Jr. is a throwback fighter who's all about the smoke. We need a lot of fighters like that who want to fight the top dogs. Blue Moon Tiger King, Frank Warren, and Eddie Hearn, do you think they'll get pushed out of boxing chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority? At the four, the UFC and WWE who merged in a deal under. Well, I don't know, my brother. I don't know how this is going to play out, because now that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is starting this new league with Dana White, I don't know how this is all going to play out. I mean, he has been doing business with with Eddie Hearn, with Warren, with De La Hoya, with Top Rank. He's been doing business with everybody. I don't know if this new TKO promotional company is going to mean that they're just going to do their own thing now, kind of like the UFC. We have to see how that plays out. I don't have a good feeling about it. I want to give him a chance to see how it's going to play out. But right now, honestly, I don't have a feeling, my brother. Real talk. DDVV, Mohammed bin Turki. Damn. His turbulency. I mean, I tell you what, man. I don't see a lot of star fighters trying to fight for that Turkey belt. I don't see it right now. We have to see how this whole thing develops, especially right now with fighters who have been working with Turkey. Are they gonna stop, working with their promoters, or wait till those contracts sign and sign with this promotional company? Look at Bivol, for example. Bivol is the undisputed champion, and I've already heard rumors that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh wants him to vacate one of those titles so he doesn't have to fight David Benavidez. I think that's crazy. To me, the biggest fight for Dimitri Bivol right now is David Benavidez. He's undisputed. Benavidez earned his shot. So I think myself and a lot of people want to see David Benavidez and Dimitri Bivol fight. Apparently, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is trying to block that. It looks like Turkey wants, the Bivol versus Better BF rematch, which is going to be the third one, the third fight between them. Kempachi, what's the deal, my brother? DDVV, Saudi Arabia are right about women. I don't know what exactly you mean by that, my brother, that they're right about women. But again, my peoples, I believe that, the fight to make right now, if Boots is able to get past Danionis, is Jaron Boots Ennis versus Brian Norman Jr. That fight just has to happen. Tony Montana, Turk people just Albanians. Listen, when it comes to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, they're going to start off that new TKO league. And honestly, I don't know how that's going to play out. Tony Montana, Turk is not a country. In past, they're not Muslim at all. Come on, my brother. We talking boxing. You talking about something else, my brother. You're getting into religion and countries. We talking boxing, my guy. JJ's in the house. Good morning, everyone. Have a good day. Take care. Let's talk boxing. What's good, my boy? But yeah, man, look. With His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, we have to see how this whole situation is going to play out. I do want to give him an opportunity. I don't want to shoot it down right away without seeing what type of fight they're going to make. how the league is gonna evolve. We have to give him a shot. Blue Moon Tiger King. Who win? Joy Joyce versus Hervachik on April 5th. I think Joe Joyce got momentum on his side. So right now I'm rocking with Joe Joyce. Blue Moon. Lawrence Okolie and Richard I can't pronounce his last name, look to settle their rivalry in a huge British heavyweight fight. Co-op live in Manchester on Saturday, April 5th. Who wins? Why? Look, honestly, I'm rocking with Okolie, but right now I have to be honest and tell you I'm rocking with Okolie simply because I know him better. I know a lot more of him than I know about his opponent. So I have to rock with Okolie. Kempachi, true facts. So my people, again, the whole situation with Jaron Boots Ennis and Brian Norman Jr., they could have fought. They could have fought already. And that fell through because, Eddie Hearn and couldn't come to an agreement with Brian Norman Jr. as far as how much he should get paid. He wasn't happy with the amount of money that he was offered. The fight didn't happen. But I believe that now, after seeing what Brian Norman Jr. did in his last fight, I would expect Eddie Hearn to say, you know what? Let's pay him. If Boots gets past Stanionis, let's pay him. Let's unify these titles. That's how I see it. As far as the whole situation, man, with TKO boxing, with Turkey Al Sheikh, I really want to see how that's going to play out, my people, because, when they decided to have their own belt, they're going to have, their own sanctioning body for their belt. It makes me wonder, how is it going to play out with their fighters fighting either people that are on other promotional companies or for other belts? How is it going to play out? Or are they going to make it an in-house kind of thing where it's kind of like UFC? The guys that fight in UFC, the way that their contract is set up, they can't fight anybody else nowhere else. They're only fighting on UFC. So is that going to happen with that TKO boxing promotion? That if you fight there, you will only be fighting people that are there and only for that belt? If that's the case, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem because their options are going to be very limited. That belt, like William P. just said, man, that Turkey belt, that holds no value right now. That's going to be like a little trinket. So, and then the money, y'all already seen that they published like the purses, what they're going to be, and that didn't look good at all. Blue Moon Tiger King, can you do a poll on here? Who will win out of Eubanks and Conor Benn? Let's do that poll, my brother. Let's do that poll and see what y'all think. I'm going to just put can Chris Eubank. No, will Chris Eubank beat Conor Benn? Will Chris, because a lot of people, Eubank beat Conor Benn. And he's going to be the favorite, right? Chris Eubank will be the favorite. He's the bigger guy. And for that reason, I think he definitely will be the favorite. Conor Benn just giving me that vibe like he's going to beat him. Will Chris Eubank beat Conor Benn? Start the poll. There you have it, my brother. The poll is up. Y'all call it. Y'all call it, my peoples. JJ's in the house. I think that will hurt these businesses. We're going to see because, if they're going to have like an in-house kind of thing with TKO Promotions, I think they're going to lose out on a lot of big fights. A lot of people are not going to be willing to go over there and lose the opportunity to fight for WBA titles, IBF, WBC, WBO. Those are the major titles. You can't just make up a whole brand new belt and think that everybody's going to be interested. That's my take, at least. David, Eubank too big and strong in my opinion. Yo, but Conor Benn is a strong dude. He's smaller, but he's strong. He's vicious, bro. Blue Moon Tiger King, you say you had boxing before. Can you find fight on YouTube? You said you had boxing before. Can you find fight on YouTube? Oh, my fight, I actually posted it very recently, so you can find it on my videos. If you're referring to my fight, it's right there right now. Actually, The last regular length video that I posted is from my fight. Look at it right there. That's the last video. So you can actually see my fight right there. Like I said, my peoples, I believe that Conor Benn, even though he's the smaller guy, he's giving me the vibe like he's going to beat Chris Eubank. And I think he's going to do it in brutal fashion. I see that aggressiveness, that energy that he's bringing to the table. Plus, he's been mad as hell after he got slapped in the face with that egg. I think we're going to see it play out, bro. I really believe. Will Chris Eubank beat Conor Benn? Some people say no. Some people say yes. There you have, and it's almost half and half, my peoples. It's 9 votes, and 5 of you said that he's not gonna beat him, and 4 of you said that he is gonna beat him. So you could see it. You could see it. People are interested in seeing how this is gonna play out. Blue Moon Tiger King, my name is still blue, but my wrench is gone. Can you see why is it? Go, no, your wrench is right there. I'm looking at it, my brother. I don't know how you don't see it. I'm looking at it right next to your name. So, my peoples, when it comes to Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, do you guys think that this fight goes the distance? Or is it going to be a stoppage? I got to tell you, me personally, I think, and I've been saying it, that Conor Benn is going to knock him out. I really feel that way. Just, his style of boxing, he's going to be putting that pressure. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. A fight is going to break out early. I promise you. A fight is going to break out early between Chris Eubanks and Conor Benn. It's not going to be, a lot of moving around, a lot of studying, 3-4 rounds of figuring each other out. Nah. I think the first round, before the end of the first round, we're going to see the blows flying in all directions. Conor Benn is going to push him into a fight. He's going to turn it into a slugfest inside of a phone booth. And that's it. From that point on, it's going to get serious. It's going to get real serious out there. Blue Moon Tiger King. Conor Benn win 4 or win 9 round or win 10. Okay. So you predicting Conor Benn is going to stop him. That's what I got happening. Conor Benn has been saying so much that he going to spark him clean out that he got me believing him. That's it. Conor Benn got me believing that he's going to knock him out. John Parham. Benn clearly showed he not bothered one bit. I feel like the energy that he's bringing, and I like his style of boxing. I don't feel like he's gonna knock Chris Eubank out just because he's mad or because he's aggressive. I just like his style of boxing, and I feel like he's gonna put that type of pressure. Chris Eubank is gonna be the guy using the footwork, using the movement, and Conor Benn is going to be hunting him down. You got to remember, Chris Eubank is a taller fighter, so Conor Benn has to get on the inside on him to be able to land those big shots. I think he's going to be successful at it. That's how I see it. I know that, a lot of people feel like Chris Eubank, being the naturally bigger guy, is going to win this fight. Blue Moon Tiger King. Eubank got attitude problems. What do people think of this? I mean, Chris Eubank, I don't know, man, because I feel like he always came across like a cool guy, and he's been acting weird, with this situation with Conor Benn. I think, it's because it's personal. Their father's fault. Conor Benn attacking him hard, letting him know, your father don't like you. And I think that really hurt him. And maybe that's part of why he's been acting kind of weird. Willie Longshot, Conor Benn getting that parliament procedure put on him. That parliamentary procedure put on him. I'm trying to tell you, bro, I got Conor Benn winning this fight. He gonna be aggressive. I'm telling you, I just got that feeling. Word. Why isn't Benn in the mix at 47? I mean, I think this whole situation played out the way that it has because, their father fought each other. They don't like each other. Ben wanted to fight Chris Eubank, and that's the fight. But I believe that Ben could be a major player in the 147 division. He did say that he wanted to fight Boots. And that's what I like about Ben, yo. He's about that smoke. He's a throwback fighter. You don't see a lot of people calling out Boots, saying that they want to fight Boots. So, John Parham, attitude can be an issue, but it's mostly for show, in my opinion. And I think so, too. I think, he's trying to sell the fight as well. Luke Curran, what the fuck, bro? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. John Parham, good? He should be. Lewis, move around. But yeah, man, I think that, Chris Eubank is also selling a fight. A lot of times, we the fans, we see certain actions or certain attitude, and we take it personal, like, oh, look, he's a piece of shit. And then before you know, after the fight is up there, shaking hands, everything is all good, They're being professional and respectful. So, but I do believe that there is some bad blood there. And when you don't like somebody, sometimes it's hard to not have that attitude. Blue Moon Tiger King. What he mean by what the fuck, bro? Like, I don't know. What the hell he talking about? LLYY. Chris Eubank is a badass dude. I'll put money on him. He can fight. He can fight. Chris Eubank is a top-notch fighter. I just, in my opinion, Ben is going to be the guy to pull it off. Ben, he just has that style that I feel like is going to give Chris Eubank problems. I see Chris using his footwork, using his movement, trying to keep that jab out there. And I see Ben just walking him down, walking through everything that he has. Ben is a bad dude too, my brother. Don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted. Ben is a bad boy. LLYY. And he's being trained and getting advice from a warrior, his dad. Nah, bro. Chris Eubank ain't getting advice from his dad. His dad don't even talk to him. His dad don't even like him. Or at least that's what Ben said. But his dad is not working with him, bro. His dad is not going to be in the corner with him, nothing. John Parham, he's never been here before. He trolling and about to take a seat. Yeah, he gonna have to take a seat. Chill out for a minute. Watch a little bit. And then come back talking boxing or get kicked out for good. We enjoy doing that too. Blue Moon Tiger King. LLYY, do you want to bet with me on the fight, mate? Blue Moon Tiger King, I bet with Bet 365. I don't do one-to-one bets. Willie Longshot, Eubank Sr. has said opening that Chris doesn't listen in the gym. I mean, there's a lot of friction going on there. First of all, because their two parents fought each other. Second, because apparently Chris Eubank's pops not getting along with him, and Ben exposed that. So there's a lot of friction going on there. What I do know for a fact is that this is going to be an explosive showdown. Like, I can't wait for this fight. It's like in 2 weeks, I think. Is it like in 2 weeks? I can't wait for that fight, my peoples. I think that is going to be, brutal. And I do believe that it's going to end in a brutal knockout. That's just how I see it playing out. Like, there's no getting around it. When two fighters don't like each other, there's going to be points in that fight where technique and all that shit is going to go out the window, and they're just going to be putting hands on each other. LLYY, but Ben wasn't built for boxing. Chris is for boxing. That's how he... I mean, bro, how can you even say that? Like, he wasn't built for boxing. Like, that's crazy, bro. Are you forgetting that Ben's father was also a fighter? You seem to be forgetting that, bro. Ben has been in boxing his whole life. His father was a boxer. He fought as an amateur. Now he's a professional, undefeated fighter. How can you say that he wasn't built for boxing, bro? Come on now. Blue Moon Tiger King. Will you be live on this fight? If yes, what time will it be in the UK time? Oh, I promise you, my brother, without a shred of doubt, I will be calling that fight live. That's the type of fight that I'm going to lose my voice calling it. With all them punches that's going to be flying. I don't know the time yet, but I will make a video to talk about the time, when it starts, when my live is going to start. So I'll be able to update you when it comes to that. But I'm definitely gonna go live for that one. Trust me. Kempachi, sup, my man? What's the deal, my brother? Appreciate you dropping in. Word, the weight will make all the difference. We'll see. We'll see. I know that Conor Benn is the guy moving up, but sometimes it's these punches that make all the difference. Blue Moon Tiger King. Conor Benn going to shock people, take Eubank apart. Believe me, that's how I feel about it. I feel like Conor Benn is going to put all type of hands on him. Aggressively. Bodily harm type of punches. LLYY. Crawford versus Canelo coming in September, right, guys? I mean, that, contracts for Crawford and Canelo have not been signed, but that's most likely what's going to happen because we all expect Canelo to beat Skull in May. And, His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh already said that fight is happening. Terrence Buck Crawford said yes in September, we going in. And even Bomac was interviewed, and he was like, nah, yo, we getting ready. We getting ready for September to fight Canelo and beat that ass. Well, he didn't say beat that ass, but I know that's how he feeling. Willie Longshaft, where's all YouTube boxing friends in here? Amen. Yo, appreciate you, my brother. LLYY, what you think the egg slap by Chris, you think is unprofessional? I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't like the idea of a fighter sneaking something to the stage and then hitting their opponent with it. I don't care what it is. Could be an egg, could be a pie, could be anything. I'm not with that. I'm okay with the pushing, with the shit talking, with the trash talking, but bringing somebody and hitting them with something and bringing to hit your opponent with, I'm not with that at all. Angry Mexican. Norman got to get through Barrios. I mean, I don't know if that fight is going to happen, but Barrios will get pummeled by Brian Norman. Easy work. MAW. Hello, boxing fans. Jay in chat. Smash that like button. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, my guy. Angry Mexican. Come on. Don't be a party pooper. I'm trying to tell you. Brian Norman will smoke Barrios. And that, you know why I don't like Brian Norman and Barrios for now? Because you got to remember, Brian Norman Jr. just fought. Jaron Boots Ennis is about to fight. So, after Jaron Boots Ennis fight, him and Brian Norman Jr. could meet up later in the year. But if now you're going to add Barrios to the mix for Brian Norman to fight him, that's it. We're not going to get Boots and Brian Norman Jr. this year. That's it. So, I don't want to wait no longer for that fight. I want Boots versus Norman Jr. ASAP. LLYY, Angry Mexican, here you go again with your weird opinion. Now, that's not a weird opinion. That's reasonable because Barrios is a legit fighter. But I want Norman Jr. and Boots to fight next. I'm tired of waiting for that fight. Blue Moon Tiger King. If that does goes on the street, they will have gone for assault and they will have been arrested. I'm telling you, you can't do stuff like that. I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. Word, Eubank Sr. said his son will be weight drained. I mean, I don't think so. He's not going to be going down in weight. They're going to be meeting up, and I think that they'll both be able to make weight comfortably. Conor Benn is moving up, so obviously he's got to bulk up. But Chris Eubank is going to be the taller guy. So, Blue Moon Tiger King. Do you think Eubank dad will be at the fight? Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, it's still a few weeks to go, but it looks like they're not getting along with each other. It looks like they're not even talking. I saw Chris Eubank Sr. criticize Chris Eubank Jr. for the egg. He was like, nah, man, our family, we professional, we respectful, and he's messing with our family name when he does that. So, Chris Eubank Sr. was not happy with that egg stunt at all. Did not like it. Willie Longshaft. David Allen versus Johnny Fisher 2. Be a decent scrap. I agree. That's a good fight. Blue Moon Tiger King. I hate Jake Paul. What you think of him? I think that he's a real good businessman, a shit boxer. Not, he's like a C-level boxer. He can box already. He learned how to box, because a lot of people, we can't say that Jake Paul can't box at all. Why? You got to think about it, man. Jake Paul's already been training in boxing for 5, 6 years already, with trainers, with sparring partners, with great equipment and great gyms. So he learned how to box. He knows how to box. He's just not at an elite level. He'll never be, but he knows how to box. Tired of seeing him, fighting YouTubers and fighting retired fighters and old people. I want to see him fighting, actual boxers. Willie Longshot, Eddie Hearn wants Jake Paul versus AJ in the summer. I watched that fight, man, just to watch AJ pummel him. Because AJ will beat the shit out of Jake Paul. And the thing is, Jake Paul, I wonder sometimes, is he trolling or is he delusional? Because sometimes it looks like he believes that he can beat these guys. And it's like, come on, bro. Tommy Fury beat you up. Tommy Fury, who isn't even ranked in any other sanctioning bodies, beat your ass. And you think you're going to beat AJ. So I think that in his mind, AJ's at the tail end of his career, got knocked out by a few people. Maybe the ass kissers around him gassing him up like, yo, yeah, you could beat AJ. You could beat him. And he believed in himself, but he wilding out. MAW, B. Norman versus Barrio is my first preference, just so we can get 2 belts versus 2 belts. To be honest, I mean, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But honestly, I don't care about Brian Norman versus Barrios. I care about Brian Norman versus Jaron Boots Ennis. To me, that's the biggest fight to make in the welterweight division. William P. It's history. Both their dads fought. That's fact. And the fact that their pops fought, it brings that friction between them. Like, because you got to remember, Chris Eubank Sr. won. He won the fight. He beat Nigel Benn. So now it's up to Conor Benn to avenge his father in the ring. That's crazy. That's a great storyline right there. Eubank Sr. drives semi-trucks with eyeglass around London. He crazy. Yo, Eubank Sr., he a legend. He a legend. Blue Moon Tiger King. Willie Sowana, AJ take Jake Paul apart. I want to see AJ and Jake Paul just to see Jake Paul finally get pummeled out there by a real boxer. William P. I can knock Jake out. William P. You can knock Jake out. You're 31, okay? If you got boxing experience, and you're close to his size, then I believe that you can knock him out. If you don't got boxing experience, you're not gonna knock him out. You can't knock him out. Cause I could tell you this, my peoples, without a shred of doubt. Jake Paul is not an elite level boxer. But if you're not trained in boxing, then he'll knock you out clean. Willie Longshot, Jake Paul got 100 yes men around him. That's a fact. And that's a lot of people who got money like that. People who got money like that, not all of them, but most people who got money like that, they surround themselves with yes men. They surround themselves with people that is going to laugh at your every joke, is going to agree with everything that you got to say, is going to amp you up in everything. And that's the type of people that he seems to be surrounded by. Because if he had real friends around him, his real friends would tell him, yo, do not fight Anthony Joshua, bro. You're going to get pummeled. You're going to get knocked out. You're going to get exposed, bro. That's what real friends would tell him. But ass kissers, oh, you got it, bro. You will beat up AJ. They will really let him believe that shit. Willie Longshot. What's good when Kawasaki dropped Eubank Sr. in the first round and Eubank got up and gave him a smile of approval? First of all, I think Kawasaki proved himself a few times where people thought he... You know what? Kawasaki was always underappreciated, man. Even at towards the tail end of his career when he was still beating names, he was never really appreciated like that. LLYY. If you don't even got boxing experience, you can knock this dude Jake out. He's too big. That dude so thick. Yo, I'm telling you, in the world of boxing versus the top level fighters, Jake Paul is a bum. But he's a bum compared to them. The average Joe in the streets, you box Jake Paul, you're going to get knocked out brutally. Brutally. So we have to understand, that's in the world of boxing. That's why Tommy Fury put the beats on him. Tommy Fury beat up Jake. That's why I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Jake Paul's got to be trolling. Because if Tommy Fury beat him up, how is he going to think that he could beat Canelo and he could beat Anthony Joshua? Now, it could all be about the massive payday. Maybe he knows AJ's going to beat him up, but he want to get that check. Because he's going to make millions of dollars. He fight Anthony Joshua. They're going to fight in a stadium. They're going to sell out. They're going to sell a bunch of pay-per-views. And they're going to make millions of dollars. Maybe it's about the payday. Like, I'm willing to get beat up for that kind of money that I'm going to make. LLYY, I promise, Holyfield at 60, he will kill Jake if they fight in a ring. Nah, my brother, you're confused. Holyfield will get knocked out. You're saying that because you don't have a good understanding of what age does to the body. Bro, Evander Holyfield is not going to have the punch resistance to handle Jake Paul's power. He's not. Look at Evander Holyfield's last couple of fights. He got beat up by nobodies, bro. Fans, listen, we boxing fans, and by we really, I'm talking about you, my brother. Boxing fans have to stop thinking that fighters who are in the late 50s and 60s can just come back and beat up young guys because they were great. It's not like that, bro. Evander Holyfield. Now, if a 60-year-old get in the ring with Evander Holyfield, they're going to get pummeled. They're going to get knocked out. But if a guy in his 20s who's bigger and stronger than Evander Holyfield fights him, he will beat him up. Forget about Jake Paul. A C-level fighter, right now, the average C-level fighter will beat the crap out of Evander Holyfield, bro. Right now. But keep in mind that nobody's still not Jake Paul. I'm telling you, Jake Paul is a big kid. And he's very strong. No 60-year-old retired fighter is just going to beat him, bro. That's delusional, trust me. Rick Sanchez. People thought Mike was back off 15 and 30-second training videos. I was like, come on, y'all. Listen, they had everybody fooled. People didn't even notice how heavily those videos were edited. Where you see Mike Tyson, bah, 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 but it's only 30 seconds. You don't realize that he's doing that and then sitting down to breathe for like 15 minutes to recover. People don't understand that. Throughout that training camp for Jake Paul, they didn't see Mike Tyson sparring a single full round. They don't understand what was really happening. They was putting a lot of little nice videos together. But nah, Mike Tyson, it's not just Mike Tyson. Any of these fighters who are that age, they're not going to come back and beat somebody who's in their 20s, in their primes, big, strong. That wasn't going to happen. That's why a lot of people, when it played out the way that it did, they were like, nah, it's scripted. It's scripted because Mike could have knocked him out if he wanted to. No, he could not, bro. I just don't understand what age does to the body. John Parham, just like Luka versus Larry Bird. Imagine that. Imagine that. Larry Bird, one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time, but he's old. That's it. Willie Longshot, Mike too busy on the DMT. MAW, Father Time catches up to all of us eventually. That's a fact. That is a fact. You cannot beat Father Time. It's impossible. John Parham, AJ days are over. Get his money from Jake Paul and see you. I agree with you 100%, John Parham. For AJ to be out there getting beat up, getting knocked out, getting hit in the head more, and possibly having his brain damaged, nah, yo, go get a nice little payday with Jake Paul, knock him out, get that bag, and call it quits. JJ's in there. His Father Time waits for nobody. That's real talk. Love more Hinduism. 60 years old is 60 years old. Shit. Willie Longshot. I feel old as fuck at 39. And look, you're only 39 years old. Imagine somebody 60. Hash bash. Evander was stopped by James Toney. Forget about James Toney. Evander Holyfield was stopped in his last couple of fights by people who were nobodies. I think McBride stopped him too. LLYY. If Jake knocked Mike out in that fight, Jake will see a real fight in the streets when he leave. That boy will get jumped. I think that could have been problems. I think if he would have knocked Mike Tyson out, I think there could have been problems in that arena. Very smart of him to let Mike Tyson off and just walk him to the end. John Parham, James Toney was him. Shit. James Toney was him. Very good fighter. Great movement. Great footwork. Used to slip punches. Power. James Toney was that dude. Rick Sanchez, Joshua versus Wilder or Wilder? Big fight. Listen, Joshua versus Paul, go get that money. I think he could fight Wilder just because both of them are kind of washed. So Joshua versus Wilder, I would be okay with that fight. I think Joshua beats Wilder. Willie Longshaft, Jeffrey Dahmer would have beat Jake Paul. He would have ate Jake Paul. I don't know if he would have beat him. Blue Moon Tiger King, why you skip my message for? Please say what was your message? Let me see. I didn't see your message, my brother. I missed it. LLYY, Willie Longshaft, Jeffrey will eat that dude. He too cute. Listen, all I know is that Jake Paul has been a very smart businessman, and that's the reason why we're talking about him. Because you got to think about this. If right now Jake Paul was to say, I retire, I will never box again, there's nobody in here that's going to miss him. Nobody in here is going to miss him. Like, oh my God, I miss Jake Paul. I'm sad that he's retired. Nobody's going to. We don't give a damn about Jake Paul. That's why I want to see him fight AJ. Go ahead. Go get knocked out by AJ. Look, I'm going to put it to you like this, so you can see how smart Jake Paul is of a businessman. Look at his promotional company, my peoples. Look at Jake Paul's promotional company. He got Amanda Serrano. He signed Alicia Baumgartner recently. His promotional company is literally made up of women. It's only women that he's signing. And he's signing women who already made a name for themselves. So he's slick. He's turning himself into the guy that supports women. Oh, look, I'm the guy that's championing for women. I'm the guy that's giving women the most paydays and all this. It's about business. He's being very smart. He's being very smart when it comes to that. And it's going to get to a point where if he keeps doing that, more women are going to keep signing with Jake Paul, looking for that career payday. He's going to be the guy, the promotional company for the women. He's turning himself into that. Blue Moon Tiger King, AJ will win belt. Believe me, I don't know. I don't think AJ will win another title again. I honestly don't believe it. AJ, he doesn't look like he has that same passion, that same hunger that he had before. So I just don't see it. Willie Longshaft, AJ be retired end of year. Could be. JJ's in there. If Jake Paul retires, I will not watch boxing ever again. Oh, man, yeah, that's cap. That's cap. John Parham, Blue, if I could put you in a 24-hour timeout for that bullshit. Blue Moon Tiger King, no way, believe me. Believe you me. AJ shot you all great belts. AJ's not going to get a belt, man. You can forget about that. Willie Longshaft, Clarissa Shields will beat Jake Paul. I got to think about that. Because she's definitely a better boxer. She's going to be able to outpoint him. But Jake Paul is very strong, so I got to really think about that. LLYY, AJ wants to fight Jake Paul for the money. Because AJ ain't going to be a champion or anything in pro boxing. Well, to be fair, my brother, it's not AJ that want to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul want to fight AJ. And AJ looks like he might be ready to accept the challenge. So Jake Paul is the one calling him out. Rick Sanchez, I wanted to see Jake versus Nikita Ababi, but now Jake at heavyweight. I think that Jake, he's gonna have a lot of options with who he can fight. And he's trying to be picky. He's trying to be careful because he already got that one loss on his record. but he wants to fight a professional boxer to try to be legitimate. Because most of us think he's a fake boxer for that reason. You're fighting guys that are non-boxers or retired boxers. You're not fighting anybody that's active. That's how I feel like, you know what? Fight AJ, who is a professional active boxer, get knocked out and get it done with. Willie Longshot, AJ mental game too weak. At least for now, that's how it appears. That's how it appears for now. MAW, who has AJ lost to though? Only to legit heavyweights and Ruiz. DDD 2 times to current heavyweight king. It's heavyweight where KOs are more likely. AJ will likely hurt Jake Paul. I mean, I see him knocking Jake Paul out brutally. Unless they don't have some scripted circus show where you know it's in the contract that is no knockout allowed, something like that. AJ knocks him out brutally. Hash bash. It doesn't matter if Joshua beat Jake because his fans will give him props for fighting Joshua, win or lose. I mean, Anthony Joshua already proved himself. He already got a legacy. He's already a champion, a two-time champion. So he don't have anything to prove. At this point in his career, I think he could retire already if he wanted to. So going in and fighting Jake Paul for a nice chunk of money, I don't see a problem with that. So I think his fans are going to back him as well. Blue Moon Tiger King. Leave me alone, John Parham. Leave me alone. MAW. AJ definitely past prime. That's facts. And he's already taken a lot of shots. A lot of punishment. Willie Longshot. John Parker, the next world champion. Joseph Parker, the next world champion. Yo, Joseph Parker, man, he's already proven that he's a top level fighter. And he's gonna continue to give problems in the division. John Parham, Blue trolling at this point. Come on, Blue. Come on, Blue. No trolling, man. Can you ask John to leave me alone, please? Over 40 years old. Leave me alone now, John. Okay, my brother, but no trolling. Let's keep it 100 right here with that boxing. Love more Hinduism. No way Jay knocks her out. I mean, you know anything can happen in boxing. Men versus women, that's hard to dictate. I know, I think we all know that Clarissa Shields is much more skilled than Jake Paul when it comes to boxing. But the power is going to be on Jake Paul's side by a lot. So I don't know if the difference in power would be overwhelming. But I do know that Clarissa Shields will be able to box the shit out of him. Put all type of hands on him. Willie Longshot. Usyk got 2 big money fights left of his excellency. Then he retired. John Parham. Jake knows it will bring money. He already has it planned out. Him and AJ, it looks like that's what's going to get done. And look, Eddie Hearn even said, look, we don't got to wait till 2026. Let's make that happen now. Let's make it. So, Eddie Hearn is down with it. Jake Paul is down with it. If they get AJ on board, that fight may happen this year. Rick Sanchez, I heard he pushing for it. I think that we might get the fight this year. Willie Longshot, AJ been put out more times than a candle wick in the gym. That's traumatized him. I mean, AJ, he struggled in his last few fights, but you got to take into consideration that Jake Paul will be a confidence builder for him because he's going to knock him out clean. So that's good. You want to fight. When a fighter has lost, you want to get him an easy fight. Jake Paul is going to be an easy fight. John Parham, Willie, facts. He cooked, baked, and broiled. All in the same pot. LLYY, George Foreman at 40 will take AJ. I was watching the highlights of him at 40. It's crazy. George Foreman was a special fighter, though. You're talking about an all-time great, my guy. D. Wheeler, top of the morning, OG. Top of the morning, D. Wheeler. You already know what it is, my brother. We talking boxing. We talking about Chris Eubank, Conor Benn, Jake Paul, AJ, and, of course, Jaron Boots Ennis, Brian Norman Jr. We talking about it all. JJ Zendejas. Come on, guys. Let's all love each other. God bless everyone. God bless everyone. That's facts, my brother. We here to talk boxing because we love the sport. Clarissa would teabag Jake Paul. Loyy. Yo, what's good, D Wheeler? Hit that like. Blue Moon Tiger King. Can me and John have a boxing fight for charity money? Go to, please. Not trolling at all. My opinion, I think AJ will win a world title. That's not called trolling. Well, if you believe that he'll win a world title, that's reasonable. That's okay. But based on what we've seen from AJ, it's hard. I don't know how you even see that. I don't think that's gonna happen, my brother. I honestly don't think that's gonna happen. John Parham, honestly, I think Jake beat Clarissa, but only cause huge power difference. But I'm 50-50 on that one. Love more Hinduism. I don't think Jake can beat Bundo Jack. Nah, he can't. Listen, Jake Paul can't beat any of those fighters. Once you saw him get beat by Fury, you already know. Come on, Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul. That's it. That's enough for us to know what's up. Sammy Chiba, what's up, man? What's the deal, my brother? You know, we doing it. We talking this boxing talk. D. Wheeler, Clarissa Shields' greatest woman boxer of all time. But Jake Paul will for sure win that. I mean, that's a hypothetical, because obviously they're never going to fight each other on a professional level. If they could do an exhibition fight, I'd love to see it. And we could settle the argument, settle the score with that. William P. New Clarissa fight, brothers. She stamped. Yo, Clarissa Shields been fighting men. She been sparring men for the longest since she was a kid. So don't get her twisted either. Blue Moon Tiger King. Leave me alone, John. You be shocked when AJ stand there with a belt. I don't know, my brother. I think you're dreaming. I think you're dreaming, Blue Moon. I think that's what you want to happen. You're trying to project it. But there is nothing to tell us that he can beat Usyk. We already know he can't beat Usyk. He lost 2 out of 2 convincingly, both times. And now you have these other heavyweights too. I don't see it, my brother. I really don't. William P. AJ Wash. He let Dubois knock him out. A PED talking fighter. A PED taking fighter. Telling you, man. These guys, I think that they all beat AJ. That's it. I think his run is done. That's it. Rick Sanchez. Joshua not getting no belt. Now until they are vacant and they send him up with a bump to get it. Oh, that can happen. You see, that way I can see AJ getting a belt. A title is vacant and he gets to fight an okay fighter for that vacant title. But him beating one of the champions, taking it from him, nah, bro, I don't see that happening at all. Hash Bash, George Foreman wasn't special at 40. He just had good money run and caught a lucky punch against Moorer. And you call it a lucky punch, but he knocked him out with that one shot. I don't call it a lucky punch. I call it a punch that it takes a special talent to land it at that age. John Pound, only belt AJ. AJ getting his belt to ass. Yeah, he getting that belt for sure. Blue Moon Tiger King. AJ hate you when see you hope all ready to say sorry to me. You're going to be disappointed, my brother. AJ's not even getting... You talking about AJ getting a title, and he's not even getting a title shot, my brother. He's not even fighting for a title. He doesn't even have an opponent lined up. You're getting too ahead of yourself, my guy. Way ahead of yourself. You're talking about a fighter that doesn't even have a fight lined up yet. Come on now. You pushing it. William P. Yeah, Hash Bad. That's bullshit. You say that shit. Yeah, Hash Bash always hating on fighters. That's just what he do. Ben Sanders. I think Chris Eubank is gonna be messed up because of the weight clause. I mean, but you have to understand. My brother. Conor Benn is moving up, so he's gonna have to make adjustments. Word. Smith, you from New York? Or you a New Yorker? Yes, sir. Grew up in New York City, Manhattan. Uptown. Rick Sanchez. Shit, that walk-off uppercut was legendary. Legendary is the way to put it. D. Wheeler. She needs to stop trying to fight these men, though, seriously. I remember when she was trying to really fight Keith Thurman. I was mad as fuck. Man, that's a lose-lose for Keith. He win, he beat a girl. He lose. Nah, my brother, listen. That D Wheeler, let me show you. They did that for promotional purposes. As you know, there is no sanctioning body is gonna sanction a fight between a man and a woman. That's not even realistic. It's not gonna happen. They did that to promote themselves. That's why you notice everybody was talking about Clarissa Shields and Keith Thurman. Everybody was putting in their opinion. Keith Thurman's gonna beat her up. Keith Thurman, but everybody was talking about it. That's all they did. That fight was never gonna happen. She was not actually trying to happen because obviously nobody's gonna sanction it. It was about promoting their name, promoting their brand, and it worked. Every social media boxing page was talking about it. Every YouTube channel, every Instagram, every Facebook. We're talking about it now. That's what it was about. It was a promotional tactic, my people. She wasn't actually trying to fight him because that fight could never happen. Willie Longshot, Carl Frost said he would fight Jake Paul and beat him up. JJ's in the house. Agent can beat Jake Paul, and that's it. His time is done. Father Time once again. Yeah, Father Time does what it does. And people, and I've been trying to explain this to people, man. Once a fighter has been knocked out multiple times, taking some nasty punishment, they not the same. They not gonna be the same. The notion that, oh, AJ's gonna come back and he's gonna climb all the way to the top once again. Forget about that, my peoples. He's already taken too much punishment to come back and be the same. Deontay Wilder's back. Yeah, he already has an opponent lined up. Let's see. Hopefully he doesn't get knocked out again. Deontay Wilder's another fighter who's taken a lot of shots, a lot of punishment, been knocked out a few times. Willie Longshot, Clarissa definitely got a 9-piece. Yo, Clarissa can fight. She's an elite level fighter, but she's not going to be fighting no dude. You know, she going to spar with men in preparation for her fights. She does that all the time. MAW, Clarissa just clout chasing for publicity. Selling her brand, my peoples. I think you clout chasing if you're just trying to get attention, but if you're promoting your brand, it's not clout chasing. It's business. William P. Shit, when I was boxing females around 20, was sparring like 12 to 14-year-olds boys. Look at that shit. Clarissa Shields was sparring, with grown men when she was 15, 16. Hash Bash, Norman versus Ennis, who you got? I'm not predicting just yet, my brother. I'll wait till, Jaron Boots Ennis got to get past his opponent in a Mantestaniones. Once he does that, if they can come to an agreement, sign contracts and everything, I'll make my prediction. Honestly, that fight is so good, so close, that I'm not ready to make a prediction just yet, like that off the top. Sammy Chiba, I don't know if you watch Eubank senior videos, but everything they ask him about the fight, he keeps saying the fight will never happen. Do you know about that? I think those are the older videos when both guys were far apart from making weight and they didn't know how they're going to make weight. Is it going to be a catch weight? He kept saying that. But as of more recently, he know that fight's happening. Like, that fight is definitely happening. They already both in training camp. The fight is already a few weeks from now. They're both, I'm pretty sure, cutting weight. Well, Chris Eubank cutting weight, Conor Benn bulking up. And I'm telling you, that fight is, without a shred of doubt, going to happen. R30. At this point, Wilder in it for the check. Yeah, I agree. Wilder, he's done. Or maybe not just for the check, because I know Wilder's made a lot of money. And he's been smart with his money. It doesn't look like he's been blowing his fortune. I believe that Wilder, he may also want to go out on a W. His last fight he got stopped. Maybe he just want to go out on a win. Rick Sanchez, Wilder done. And he should have the money to retire. I don't know why he's still doing it. And he lost bad his last 2 fights. I think that he's trying to retire with a win. Trying to go out with a win. That's what I think. Willie Longshot, Wilder needs the cash. He paying crazy child support payments. No, I would say that's speculation. I don't know if that's the case. Don't know if that's the case. I hope that he got the money to retire. Because if fighters don't got the money to retire and they stick around, that's when they could get hurt even worse. D. Wheeler, if you were on Errol Spence's team, who would you want to see him in there with on his comeback fight? Errol been saying, oh, no tune-up, that he doesn't do tune-up, but he need a tune-up, bro. We're talking about 2 years already. It's 2 years. It's about to be 2 years since Errol Spence last fought and took a nasty beating. So I believe that he needs a tune-up. Come back versus a guy like George Kambosos. Well, not Kambosos is not even moving up that far. And that's the thing that I'm confused about, because supposedly Errol was going to make his comeback at 154 versus Fundora. He didn't make that fight. I don't even know if he could make 154. Maybe he has to come back at 160. So I guess his opponent is going to depend on what weight class he could make. But I believe his comeback fight should be versus an unranked opponent. Versus a C-level fighter that everybody knows he's going to beat, that he should beat. That way we know where he's at. Because think about it. If he comes back versus a C-level fighter and it turns into a dog fight and he wins by split decision, a controversial decision, then we know he's cooked. You know, if a nobody took him to a war, then that's it, he's cooked. Ben Sanders, Wilder has custody of his kids. I thought that. That's why the child support thing kind of threw me off. William P., I can't wait till Canelo KO Bud and hit that like button, my peoples. Man, that's cap. Canelo ain't going to knock Crawford out. Crawford going to beat him by unanimous decision. I already told you that. But when it happens, y'all going to start calling me Jay Stradamus. Sammy Chiba, after his tune-up, I want to see Spence fight Charlo at 54. I like that. You know, him taking a tune-up, winning convincingly, and then go after Jamel Charlo. JJ saying that Spence needs a tune-up. He is very rusty. Facts. I agree. William Longshaft. Who the better boxer, Crawford or Usyk? You know, it's hard to make that comparison simply because, you know, one is fighting a heavyweight and Crawford, you know, a 147-pounder who moved up to 154 and now is moving up again. But they're so different in divisions that it's very hard to compare them. I would say they're both elite-level boxers. They both have very high ring IQ, ring generalship, great footwork. They both have all the intangibles. Blue Moon Tiger King, you will be all shocked when AJ get a belt. All right, my brother, we shall see. But you pushing the belt too much when he's not even fighting for a belt, my guy. Like, I get it. That's your opinion. But you don't have to keep repeating it over and over and over and over. AJ's not even fighting for a belt, my G. He don't even have an opponent lined up. He might fight Jake Paul next. So you got to stop pushing that belt stuff on at least until he's going to actually fight for one. William P. D. Wheeler, Canelo beat Bud. We shall see. We shall see, my peoples. I don't see it that way. Ben Sanders, I was on a podcast interview with Bernie the Boxer last week, and I told him if Crawford stand toe-to-toe, he going to sleep. So Crawford has to use the whole ring. I mean, I do believe that we're going to see Crawford's ring generalship. He's going to be the guy with the better footwork going into that fight. So I believe we're going to see that. Plus, he has the height and reach advantages. We're going to see that jab. We're going to see him use that space. We got to remember, Canelo did not lose to guys that were power punchers or to guys with a high knockout percentage. He lost to guys that outboxed him. And I believe that Terence Crawford is going to be able to outbox him. I believe it. MAW, Blue Moon, okay. So you're an AJ fan. Cool, chill, please. That's what I'm saying, Blue Moon. Like, I get that you're an AJ fan and you see him getting a belt, but, you know, let's at least wait till AJ's going to fight for a title. JJ's in there. Take care, guys. Have to go to work, do something positive today. Thanks again, Jay Smith. Appreciate you dropping in, my boy. Enjoy your day at work. I'll see you later tonight. 5-Line Leon. The champ is here. What up, y'all? It's been a while. What's the deal, 5-Line Leon? You already know what it is, man. We talking boxing. We doing what we do. We talking about, yo, what do you think about, Jaron Boots Ennis, Brian Norman Jr., what's going to happen with that fight? Ben Sanders, who you got? Tank versus Roach, too. You know, the only problem with that fight is that right now I'm not even sure if it's going to happen. Tank Davis ain't signed his side of the contract, and it looks like they don't want to pay Roach. They don't want to pay him. That's what it's looking like. And Lamar Roach is on the driver's seat right now, my brother. And I'm going to tell you why, Ben Sanders. Because Lamar Roach is in a position where he's already saying to Tank Davis and his team, if y'all don't pay me, I got a title shot with Shakur Stevenson. So now he don't need the rematch. He already did the damage that he was going to do in the first fight to make his stock go up. All his social media platforms up. Mad new followers. Mad new people want to know what's up with Roach. So his star power already went up. He did his damage. So Tank Davis' team, they got to pay him for that rematch, and I don't know if they're going to. But supposedly the rematch is going to happen on June 21st. Oh, that was the date, which is my birthday, by the way. And I'm going for Lamar Roach to win the rematch. I think he actually has Tank Davis' number. That's how I see it. Ben Sanders, June 21st, yeah. Facts. Blue Moon Tiger King, why you have a chance on me? You been cool with me, but soon John said I was troll when me screen and chance. No, my brother, Blue Moon Tiger King. The thing is that we're all talking boxing, but you keep talking about AJ belt. AJ getting a belt. AJ getting a belt. My brother, you already repeated that like 50 times. Come on now. Let's keep talking boxing, but you keep repeating the same thing over and over. You already said like 10 times, yeah, y'all going to see when he get a belt. Okay, my brother, but we know that AJ's not fighting for a belt. He's not fighting for a title. He doesn't even have an opponent lined up. So when you keep repeating the same thing over and over, it does look like you trolling, my guy. Like, stop repeating the same thing already. We're done with AJ getting a belt conversation. Let's move on from that. Willie Longshaft, who agrees Box Center going places? Listen, my brother. Box Center, I promise y'all, is going to be the #1 boxing show, period. The #1 boxing live. There's no getting around it. In this show, there's no bias. There's no clickbait. There's no trying to get views. We're making up fake stuff. I give it to everybody how it is. Real talk. Y'all see it. No disrespect. No capping. We just go in on this boxing stuff. You know, love the sport of boxing, love the sweet science, and we headed for #1, my people. There's just no getting around it. I promise you that. While Del Roach don't get knocked out without Tank, he will fade back normal. Rick Sanchez, mine, July 14th. Oh, so yours is close by too. Hash bash. Lamont didn't win, so he didn't accomplish the goal to win. So I don't see why he should get what he wants. Well, you don't see why he should get what he should wants. I see why he should get what he wants. Why? I'm trying to explain it to you. Right now, Tank Davis needs the rematch. Tank Davis needs to prove that he can beat Lamar Roach. Lamar Roach don't got nothing to prove. A lot of people already saw him winning that fight. You see, so whether you agree with it or not, but most people saw Lamar Roach winning it. Most people know that if that knee that Tank Davis took was counted, Lamar Roach wins the fight. So to a lot of people, he already did his damage. And you want to see the proof? Go look at his Instagram. He already got more than double the followers that he had before he fought Tank Davis. Why you think all those people started following him? His fan base grew, my brother, off of that fight. His name grew off of that fight. So he walked out of there with a draw. That's the first time as a professional that Tank fights somebody and he don't come out of there the winner. And it was a controversial decision. So what you don't understand, Hash Bass, is that, Lamar Roach's name is already up. He don't need Tank Davis. He could get a title shot from Shakur. Meanwhile, Tank Davis, if he don't give him the rematch, a lot of people are going to be talking about it. A lot of people are going to be saying, well, what happened? What happened? This guy put hands on you and now you didn't give him the rematch. It's not going to be a good look for Tank Davis. So that's what you don't see. If Tank Davis don't give him a rematch, it's not a good look for him. If Lamar Roach don't get a rematch, no problem. He get another title shot from somebody else. He's good. Simple as that. D. Wheeler, how do you feel about my boy Gary Russell, the younger brother, Antoine? You're talking about Gary Antoine Russell. He's for real. He's the truth. Gary Antoine Russell is the truth. I've been following him. And I've been telling people, yo, this guy can fight, bro. This guy can fight. This guy can do damage. You see his knockout percentage. You see his boxing skills. So Gary Antoine Russell, he's one of my guys. Yo, you're a great boxer. Blue Moon Tiger King. 3 people chat about AJ. Now, come on, bro. You still talking about AJ? You still, come on. Blue Moon Tiger King, let's move on, my brother. That's it. We done with AJ and you still at it. Sammy Chiba, not gonna lie, Roach made a fan out of me. That's what I'm saying, yo. Lamont Roach made a lot of new fans. He made a fan out of me, too. A lot of people started following Lamont Roach. His star power is way up because of that fight. Love More Hinduism. Tank didn't even want to give Pitt a rematch. No, he was actually going to give Pitbull a rematch. He was going to give Pitbull a rematch, but Pitbull fumbled the bag when he lost to Rayo Valenzuela. Fumbled the bag. If he would have won that fight, he was actually going to get the rematch. That was supposed to set up the rematch, but he lost. MAW, if Tank don't rematch and beat Lamont Roach next, it's going to look very bad for Tank if Shakur beats Roach convincingly, in my humble opinion. Of course it is. Of course. That's why the Tankomaniacs, they don't want Shakur to give Lamont Roach a title shot. They don't want Lamont Roach to fight Shakur. I asked a couple of Tankomaniacs, should Shakur fight Lamont Roach if Roach don't get the rematch? And they was like, nah. He should go rematch De Los Santos. He should go rematch De Los Santos. They don't even want Shakur to fight Lamont Roach because they know if he whooped Lamont Roach, it's going to be a bad look for Tank Davis. After he went, you was in a dogfight, which a lot of people saw him losing. So that's why I told people, Shakur Stevenson put that pressure on Tank Davis. The moment he said, yo, Lamont, if he don't give you a title shot, I got you with a title shot, my boy. The moment he did that, he put pressure on Tank Davis. Because now Tank and his team got to think about it. Damn, if we don't pay this money and we let him go fight Shakur and Shakur beat him, that's going to put us on the hot seat. That's going to make us look bad. So we have to see it. Ben Sanders, people talking down on Tank. Not you, but nobody telling Shakur to get his back with De Los Santos. The thing is, my brother, that look at the difference. Like, that's not a real good comparison. Why? Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, that was a draw, and a very, very controversial draw. You saw what happened with the knee. You saw what happened with Tank Davis going to his corner in the middle of the round. Come on, you saw the controversy. There was no controversy with Shakur and De Los Santos. He won by unanimous decision. And he had a bad hand. He fought with one hand. The only thing, you could say it was a boring fight. There wasn't a lot of action. But Shakur won that fight. And it was a boring fight to watch. A lot of people were like, yo, that's boring. I fell asleep. So who the hell wants a rematch of a fight that was not entertaining at all? It's a bad comparison. Nobody walked out of this saying, yo, De Los Santos won that fight. De Los Santos beat Shakur. Only Shakur haters walk out of there saying stuff like that. But Shakur won that fight. And it was a unanimous decision. It's not the same as a draw where a point deduction would have meant Lamont Roach wins the fight. A point deduction that never happened. That's a big difference, my guy. Asking Shakur for a rematch versus a guy he beat by unanimous decision in a fight that people thought was boring, it doesn't even make no sense. Come on now. John Parham, D, respectfully, he's just boring but highly ranked. Ben Sanders, but it was a dogfight with Tank versus Roach. That's a fact. It was a dogfight. It was a dogfight. Blue Moon Tiger King, man on screen, can you please take my blue wrench away from me, as this meant to be a boxing channel? To have your own opinion is wrong. I'm not a troller. I'm not saying, my brother, that your own opinion. I never question your opinion. I question the fact that you keep bringing up the same thing over and over. Like, if you're saying that AJ is gonna be a champion, cool. I respect your opinion. But bro, you literally said AJ was gonna be a champion like 5, 6 times in a row. You're not saying, you're not expressing an opinion. You're not expressing anything different. You just keep repeating the same thing over and over. You gotta stop. Hold on, let me. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I accepted your request from removing that blue wrench. But again, my brother, you can express your opinion. But when you repeat the same thing over and over, it does look like you're trolling. Like, look, everybody's moving on. We're actually talking about different fights now. And you're still talking about the same thing, my brother. There is literally nobody right now in the chat talking about AJ. You're still on that. Come on now. Time to move on, my guy. Hash Bass. The fans said it was controversial because they gave Shakur that belt. It was a gift. It was a political gift. That's crazy, Hash Bass. Now you're saying why other people are talking. You're getting into other people's brains. That's insane. D. Wheeler, Blue Moon acting like a female. Come on, bro. All he said was move on, big dog. Yo, all I said was, yo, bro, you keep repeating the same thing. Let's move on. But he's still on it. I don't know why. John Parham, crazy work. Eli Ex-Cubano, good morning, family. Good morning, my G. Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. Blue Moon Tiger King, thank you, mate. Take it away. It's a done deal, my G. Now, I have to say, when it comes to Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, I'm still sketchy about that rematch, my peoples. And the reason I'm sketchy about it is because it was like a week ago that Lamont Roach was on a podcast, and he said, not on a podcast, he was on a show, and he specifically said, I signed my side of the contract. We just waiting on them. So we got to consider the fact if Lamont Roach already signed his contract and Tank Davis hasn't signed his, come on now. Come on now. What does that mean? Hash Bash, we are the people, the fans of boxing. We are the people, but as a hardcore Tank Davis fans, you see everything in Tank Davis's favor. Everything you say is in Tank Davis's favor. And everything you say is to hate on Shakur, hate on Crawford, and hate on everybody that Tank Davis fans hate on. That's just the way it is. You don't represent the majority. The majority of fans saw Tank Davis lose in that fight. The majority of fans felt like if the point deduction would have happened, Tank Davis loses that fight. That's the majority of fans. And then Shakur won by unanimous decision. So there's nothing to argue there. You have no argument other than from a hater point of view. On Lace, emotional damage. Yeah, people get real emotional. Ben Sanders, I'm a Tank fan. And yeah, you're a Tank fan, but you're also an actual fan of the sport of boxing too. So you look at all angles. You're a Tank fan, but you're not a Tankomaniac. Hash Bass is a Tankomaniac. That's the difference. 5-Line Leon, shout out to the whole family. Rip to Gary Russell Sr. Gary Russell Sr.? What are you talking about, Rip? I haven't gotten that information. Did Gary Russell Sr. pass away? Arch30, great job doing the fight over the weekend. Why you think a farmer thinking he won and blaming his lack of promotion? Listen, bro, that was a great fight, Farmer versus Zepeda. But Zepeda beat his ass. I don't know what was wrong with, like, look, to be honest and fair, Farmer did win some of the later rounds. You know, he started using that footwork and catching Zepeda coming in. So he did win a few rounds towards the end. But he lost that fight, man. When I saw that he was surprised, I was like, what the hell is he surprised about? My man got beat up. He wilding out. So I don't know what happened. For real. Sammy Chiba, Tank fans question if Tank was too clearly lose a fight, will you still be his fans? I mean, Tank fans, I believe that they're real loyal to Tank. I believe that. Hash Bash, you said Lamont signed, so that means he accepted the money. John Parham, come back with better energy. Good stuff, John. Ben Sanders, we don't know any of the fighters. So let me answer to you, Hash Bass. What do you think Lamont Roach accepted? That's the point. That's the point. They put together a contract with the amount of money that they want. And Tank Davis like, nah, we're not going to pay that. So I'm not signing to pay him that. Very simple. Elite ex-Cubano, Gary Russell Sr., his pops. I didn't know that. I did not know that. When did his pops pass away? Ben Sanders, Gary Russell Sr. Oh, been dead. That's what I'm saying. I thought this song had happened recently and shit. Hash Bass, Gary Russell Sr. did pass away, but how long ago was that? Elite ex-Cubano, Gary Russell pops, rest in peace. All news though. Oh, I see. I thought that was something recent because I knew that his pops passed away a long time, but that threw me off. MAW, Blue Moon, please. If you can't shift with conversation and move past one little disagreement, take your negative energy elsewhere, please. And listen, Blue Moon Tiger King, I don't have any issue with him sharing his opinion. But when you want to stick to the same point and just repeat the same thing over and over, everybody's already moving on to a new conversation. That's already trolling at that point. John Parham, MAW, clearly he a kid. I believe it. You look like his profile and comments. He been talking about AJ for 2 weeks. 2 weeks straight. Ben Sanders, about a year ago from diabetes. Okay. Damn, diabetes, man, that's tough. That's a tough way to go. By the way, my peoples, that's why I started running in the first place. I got diagnosed pre-diabetic, which means I was a chocolate chip cookie away from being diabetic. I started running. I started taking meds. And with the running, it went so good controlling my sugar that I was able to stop taking meds. So I haven't taken any meds for my sugar levels for like the last 7-8 years. You know, I'm focused. I'm consistent and I'm very disciplined when it comes to my running. And I'm not diabetic. Running really saved my life. I could tell you that. R30. Crazy how Tank fans take on Tank's ducking mentality. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. They allow Tank to fight anybody. They want the other fighters to fight the best. They want Canelo to fight Benavidez. They want Crawford to fight whoever. They want everybody to fight the best except Tank Davis. They don't ask Tank Davis to fight anybody. They talk about everybody's opponents, but they don't talk about Tank's opponents. That's Tank Davis fans, man. They that loyal to Tank. Hash Bash, Russell Sr., May 23rd. Okay, that was last year. Well, rest in peace to Gary Russell Sr. You know, he put together a dynasty. Ben Sanders, it's a lot of ducking in boxing, period. That's a fact. And we started seeing this ducking trend. I would say that we started seeing it when Floyd Mayweather became so successful and retired undefeated. Now everybody wants to retire undefeated. Everybody wants to have that O in their record. But you're not Floyd Mayweather. You're not that big of a star. So I think that's something to take into consideration. But you got to remember, Floyd Mayweather beat 26 world champions? He didn't stay undefeated by cherry picking throughout his whole career. A lot of cherry picking going on. And even if it's not good, look, I'm going to tell you like this. Let's say Tank Davis, for example, right? Tank Davis, he could have fought Devin Haney. He didn't fight him. He could have fought Teofimo Lopez. He didn't fight him. He could have fought Shakur Stevenson. He didn't fight him. He could have fought Lomachenko years back. He didn't fight him. When he moved up to 140, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion. He fought Mario Barrios for a secondary title. So they've been very strategic with who they fight. You know, whether it's moving up in division to fight Mario Barrios, who had never fought for a title at that point, or bringing fighters from the 130 division to fight him. You know, they've been very strategic with picking the right opponents and then having their fan base defend that. Their fan base always have a good defense for Tank Davis opponents. But when it comes to all those elite level fighters who've been around them, they never ask him to fight any of them. I never seen anybody of the Tank Davis fan base say, yo, Tank, go fight Shakur. Yo, Tank, Go fight Devin Haney when Devin was at 135. Yo, Tank, go fight Teofimo when Teo was at 1. They never asked him to fight any of those guys. They just want him to fight the guys that everybody knows Tank Davis can beat. Meanwhile, they also want fighters to fight the guys who they think that can beat them. Oh, they think Canelo can beat Benavidez? Yo, Canelo, go fight Benavidez. You're a duck. Go fight Benavidez. So why you want the other guys to fight the best, but not Tank Davis to fight the best? But that's his fan base. He has a very loyal fan base. Arch 30, real talk. Exercise and eating healthy will keep diabetes on hold. Good luck, fam. Appreciate it, my guy. Yeah, diabetes can't fuck with me. I'm beating that thing up. Sammy Chiba, I heard Buzz say he might come back to 154 after Canelo. Who do you think he would fight in that weight class? To be honest, he got a bone to pick with Mel Charlo. So if Mel Charlo can win a title while he's dealing with Canelo, I think he will come down and put the beats on Jermell Charlo. Plus, he also got a bone to pick with Fundora. Y'all got to remember, Bud Crawford was actually set up to fight Fundora, and they was like, nah, Fundora's going to fight Errol Spence. Look at that. They put Errol Spence ahead of Crawford to fight Fundora, and then Errol Spence dropped out of that fight. That's crazy. That's crazy work. They said, nah, you can't fight Fundora because Spence is going to fight him, and that fight never happened. Come on now. Hash Bass, we want Tank versus Shakur ASAP. Hash Bass, don't cap like that because you yourself told me multiple times that, nah, Shakur need to fight somebody else, and he's not a big enough star to fight Tank, and he's not putting butts in seats. You made all those arguments. Now, since you got no choice, because you know you got cooked when you was trying to say that, nah, Shakur don't deserve that fight. Now you're saying it because you want to show that you want Tank Davis to fight a real fighter. But nah, that's never been. This is the first time. You've been in this channel already for a minute, my brother, and this is the first time that you ever say that. First time that you ever say that. Ben Sanders, he beat Garcia, and Garcia beat Haney. But you know that styles make fights, my guy. Not only styles make fights, Tank Davis fought Ryan Garcia at 135. You know boxing. You know that Ryan Garcia showed up to that fight looking like a crackhead. Drained and shit. And he showed up versus Devin Haney with 3 pounds overweight. At 140, at a higher division. So the circumstances are different, my guy. You're right. Ben Sanders, you're right. Barrios is a good fighter. But that's the magic word right there. A good fighter. Frank the Ghost Martin is also a good fighter. Pitbull's a good fighter. Tank fights a lot of good fighters. But he don't fight the great ones. He hasn't fought a single great fighter. He hasn't fought a single guy that's amongst the best in the division. He hasn't fought any of the best, bro. Not only he hasn't fought any of the best, how many reigning champions has Tank Davis beat at 30 years old? Tank Davis beat one reigning champion, my brother, in his whole career, and that was Mario Barrios. And by the way, Mario Barrios became a stepping stone for a lot of fighters who beat him up. Mario Barrios has never been seen as one of the best. Would never be pound for pound. Would never be mentioned as, oh, Mario Barrios. Like, I mean, not Mario Barrios. What's the name of Pedraza? The only reigning champion that Tank Davis beat was Pedraza, bro. How many years ago that was? At 130. And Pedraza's literally a stepping stone that everybody beat him up. Look at Pedraza's resume so you can see. Before Tank Davis, he was really fighting anybody. Got to Tank Davis, lost to Keyshawn Davis, and lost to other people that just beat him up. That's Tank Davis's only reigning champion in his resume, my guy. Pedraza. Come on. MAW, Fundora to fight Spence was PBC looking after PBC fighters. Should have happened, but stagnate those belts, and now Fundora got both Mandos. Shaking my head. But that was also a way for PBC to shit on Bud Crawford, because Crawford was the mandatory for that WBO title. And the way they try to shit on him was put Errol Spence in front of him to put Crawford on ice. Just like they kept Crawford on ice for almost a year with that Spence rematch that never happened. They could have told him from the beginning, yo, we're not going to do this rematch. And Crawford could have moved on right away. He couldn't fight nobody for almost a year for the Errol Spence rematch. And then right before that rematch clause expired, Errol Spence was like, oh, nah. We're not going to fight, forget it. We kept you on ice for almost a year. We're not going to fight now. The PBC stayed doing Crawford dirty. Elite ex-Cubano. Let's put it like this. Tank only 50-50 fight was Lamar. And look what happened. Look what happened. Damn right. Love more Hinduism. Pedraza is a punching bag now. You know, Pedraza, he's a good fighter. Tank Davis fights a lot of good fighters. He don't fight the top dogs, though. Hasn't fought any of the top dogs in any of the divisions that he's been on. That's been the case consistently. Elite ex-Cubano. Barrios only lost since Tank was Thurman. Barrios is solid and currently has a belt. Yo, like I said, Barrios is a good fighter. He's a good fighter. And a lot of the guys that Tank Davis fought are good fighters. But they're not the top dogs. They're not the guys that people consider the best in the division. MAW. Tank would've, could've, should've been in that champion mix with Loma, Tio, Campbell, and Devin, but wasn't. And sadly, we still waiting for a unification. Oh well, I stopped expecting it already. I mean, Tank is already 30 years old, about to be 31 years old, talking about retirement, and hasn't fought any of the best. That's the reality of it. That's not true, Mr. Smith, because Tim was the champion and lost to Fondora, and Spence stepped in the ring. Okay, what does it matter that Spence stepped in the ring? He stepped in the ring and then never fought him. What does it matter? He stepped in the ring and never fought him. What did that really mean? Right before that, Errol Spence exercised his rematch clause versus Terrence Crawford. And there was no rematch. He pulled out. He pulled out of the fight with Fondora, in case you didn't know. That's why they never fought. Elite ex-Cubano. I agree with MAW. I agree. I mean, we've been waiting for Tank to fight one of these guys. Been waiting for it, and it just never happened. And the crazy thing is, on Twitter, Tank beat the crap out of all those guys. On Twitter, he beat up Teofimo, beat up Shakur, knocked out Devin Haney. On Twitter, say everything, but let's fight. He haven't sent a contract to any of them, haven't asked any of them, let's fight. Ben Sanders, salute my brother, love your channel. Appreciate it, my guy. You already know how it is. I try my best to call it how I see it. No bias, no hating. Just call it how I see it. Call out the facts. Because, look, there's people that's told me, yo, you're a hater for Tank Davis. You're a hater. And I tell everybody, when we're talking about Tank Davis's skills or Tank Davis as a fighter, Tank Davis is one of the best counter punchers in boxing. Tank Davis is without a doubt the hardest puncher at 135 and one of the hardest pound for pound punchers. Tank Davis is also an elite level fighter. He's super talented. It's just like most people, I'm not happy with his opponent selection. Because it's been so many years waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like, God damn, bro, you're already 30 years old. When are you gonna fight these guys? When are you gonna wait till y'all in your mid-30s to finally fight them? Come on now. Elite ex-Cubano, 3-time undisputed Twitter champion. Yo, on Twitter, Tank done beat up everybody. Hashbash, you claim they did Crawford dirty, but he had a chance to go after Tim, who was the champion at 154. I don't know what you're talking about. He did go after a champion at 154, and right now he's a reigning champion at 154. What are you talking about? He had a chance. He is a champion at 154. What Crawford did at 154 has absolutely nothing to do with what Errol Spence did to him at 147. You held the guy frozen for a rematch clause and you never fought in the rematch. You never took the rematch. How could you not? Like, you hate so much on Crawford that you always try to point at somebody else. Look, now you're bringing Tim Tszyu into it because you're hating on Crawford. We're talking about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. You need to bring somebody else because you're always hating, my brother. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford had a rematch clause. Errol Spence exercised that rematch clause. And then, almost a year later, when the rematch clause was expired, Errol Spence was like, nope, I'm not going to do this rematch anymore. Forget about it. You frozen for a year, bro. What you not seeing? Like, don't make the hate for Crawford make you go blind and act like you're not understanding what I'm explaining to you, my guy. It's obvious. They held him down to a rematch that they never planned to do. Froze him on a rematch clause and then pulled out when that clause expired. What don't you understand about that hash bash? Let me know so I could explain it in different words for you. MAW. I like Mario Barrios. Love how he always represented his people and culture and willing to fight, rain, hell, or shine. But he is the weakest champion at 147. No hate. Just being honest. That's true. That's true. That's 100% accurate. These other champions will smoke him. Will smoke him. Now, like I said before, Mario Barrios is a good fighter. And he's a warrior. He's a guy that's going to keep coming forward. That's going to keep punching. That's going to keep fighting. His fights are always going to be entertaining to watch. But he's not one of the best. He's not amongst the elite. He's not. That's the reality. And by the way, that's at 147. He fought Tank Davis at 140. Remember that. Ben Sanders. Errol Spence needs to be worried about these allegations he has on him with MO3 murder for hire case. Hopefully Errol Spence is not involved in that. Hopefully. Because he was hanging out with BZ, bringing him to the fights, taking pictures everywhere with him on IG and on other social media. Like he was acting like that was his man's in him, like his boy. And when this whole situation happened, when this guy got killed, at that time, Errol was rolling with BZ. So I'm hoping that he has no involvement in that. His name hasn't come up. His name hasn't been brought up in any of that stuff. Hopefully it stays like that. Eli Ex-Cubano, Barrios, El Azteca. You beat my guy Ugas. And Most Def has heart. Yeah, I agree. He's a guy who got heart, who can fight. Hash Bad, the truth don't never hate. And Crawford didn't want to fight Spence at 54. And turns out and fought at 54. Okay, so why are you not accepting that Errol Spence held him to a rematch clause but didn't fight? What are you not understanding about that? You keep sidetracking to something that has nothing to do with it. There was a rematch clause at 147. Errol Spence knew it was at 147 and still exercised the rematch clause. And a year later, forget it. I'm not going to fight. Chose not to fight. And then you're saying Terrence Crawford didn't fight Errol Spence at 54. He didn't have to. He didn't have to. That's the point. Rematch clause was at 47. He beat him for the title at 47. So it's hate. When you bring up, didn't want a rematch at 54, that's your hater side that's talking for you because the rematch clause wasn't at 54. Or you forgot that they fought for undisputed at 147. That's what they fought for the title, in case you didn't know. So that's your hate for Crawford that bring up 54 when they fought at 147. When the rematch clause was at 147. That's your hate, my brother. You just keep hating. Ben Sanders. They was all in the club together when he was in the car wreck. I'm telling you. Errol Spence was rolling with this dude left and right. That was his man's in him. I hope that he's not involved in that situation. I can only hope. MAW, Tank is popular. Has his own fans. Cool. Just don't expect us to all follow blindly. No hate. Just honesty. I'm telling you. There's a portion of the Tank Davis fans who they follow the same dynamic. You know, they got to hate on Crawford. They got to hate on Shakur. They got to hate on other fighters who never rock with the PBC. They got to defend Errol Spence. They got to defend every fighter that's with PBC. Like that. That's the whole logic. That's the whole thing. Like they all gotta walk in that same code. That's insane. Elite Ex-Cubano, that MOP3 shit is crazy. That crash supposedly was caused by MO3 chasing him. If you look back at the crash video, they say that car that was shown driving past the accident was MO3's Go Honda. Unlaced. Elite X MO3 was known for being in a Honda Accord. That's facts. Hash bash. Because Crawford told Spence it's hard for Crawford to make 147 and told Spence he will fight him at 154. I think you got it backwards. It was Errol Spence who said he couldn't make 154. But that's up to him. They fought at 147. The rematch was at 147. So if you want to side with Errol Spence and go against Crawford and say that it should have happened at 154, that's your hater side talking about you. Because you got to understand, Hash Bass, besides being a hater, there's a thing called a contract. The contract said that the rematch happens in the same place that they fought. That's what the contract says. The contract says that the winner got to pick that division. So Terrence Crawford is going by the contract. But you don't understand that. You just make up your own argument in your head. That it should have happened at 154 because that's where Errol Spence wanted it. That's what you always do. You side with Errol Spence and you go against Crawford. Nothing that you said is a fact. It's more about what you want to happen. But the fact is that the rematch clause was for the fight to be at 147. What did you understand about that? You understand it. You just hate on Crawford, so you don't want the rematch to happen where it was supposed to happen as per the contract. How much more can I teach you, brother? I'm schooling you right here. You don't care about the contract? You don't care what they agreed to? You just want the rematch to happen where you want it to happen? Come on now. Ben Sanders, yes, it was a Go Honda. And as matter of fact, he was in that same Go Honda when he got killed. He was in that same car. A Boogie 616, Crawford been calling Spence. Be careful what you wish for. Elite Ex-Cubano, I believe Errol did say he performed better at 154, but since he lost Crawford, had the ball in his court, and 47 was agreed weight. That's the point, Elite Ex-Cubano. Only Crawford haters keep talking about that they should have fought at 154. He lost the fight. The winner was going to dictate where the rematch take place, and Crawford won. The rematch takes place at 147. Now, here's where they screwed Terrence Crawford over. If you can't make 147, just don't exercise the rematch clause. But how the hell you exercise the rematch clause, wait a whole year, keep them inactive, and then when the clause is going to expire, oh, forget it. We're not going to fight. Forget it. We're not fighting. What was the point of exercising the rematch clause? To put Crawford in ice. To keep him inactive. That's what they did. Arch 30. As a fight fan, we're lucky that Crawford is chasing greatness. Otherwise, we don't get the Canelo fight. That's real talk. Those are the type of fights that make boxing bigger, make boxing better. Two fighters that been undisputed, 2 pound-for-pound fighters. Look at what Crawford is doing. Yo, so you can understand it. Crawford moving up those 2 divisions to challenge such a hard puncher like Canelo, that would be like Tank Davis moving up to 147 to fight Boots. That would be like that. Now, do you envision Tank Davis moving up 2 weight classes to fight Boots? When he won't even fight the best in his own division? Hash Bass, Crawford didn't have to fight Spence. The contract could have been void. My God, yo. You embarrassing yourself, my brother. The contract could have been void. So you want the contract to be void so they could satisfy Hash Bash? Why the hell would Terrence Crawford want to void the contract that he wants? To make you happy? Notice the arguments that you make when you're a hater. That's the thing about being a hater, my brother. You make real bad arguments, horrible arguments, embarrassing arguments. The contract could have been voided so they could fight at the weight that I want them to fight. Bro, you're embarrassing yourself. What you talking about? The contract could have been voided. Like, that's crazy work. Angry Mexican. Legacy-wise, Canelo gets nothing from this. That's wrong. Legacy-wise, he's going to get another champion in his resume. He's going to get another champion in his resume, another undefeated fighter in his resume, and a 2-division undisputed fighter in his resume, and a Hall of Famer in his resume. So, yeah, he gets a lot. It's only a Crawford hater or a hardcore Canelo fan would say something like that. Even Crawford saying, yo, his resume is impressive. That would be good for me. Come on now. Come on now. Unless Canelo voice, horrible fighter. Ben Sanders, bless you. Bless you too, my brother. Angry Mexican, because Bud is really a welterweight. Only one weight at 154 is enough to get acclimated to the weight. Man, you don't know what you're talking about. Canelo is a small 168-pounder. Canelo is a 154-pounder who went all the way to 168. You don't say nothing about that. Canelo mad small. Ernest Morales, Spence doesn't want a rematch, period. Canelo versus Bud is history in the making. It's the boost boxing needs. That's a fact. And the funny thing about it is, you see people like Hashback saying the fight could have been at 154. Crawford could have avoided the contract. Look how dumb that shit sounds. He could have avoided the contract and make it a 154. Meanwhile, Spence could have fought Fundora at 154 and didn't fight. Spence was lined up, agreed to with Fundora, and he pulled out of that fight. Spence hasn't fought in 2 years since taking that beating. But you want to believe that he was going to fight Crawford at 54. You really want to believe that. You want to believe that he want to fight the guy that pummeled him at 54, but he skipped out on Fundora. That people be delusional. People be delusional. You convince yourself to believe what you want to believe instead of what we're actually seeing happening. Come on now. Motown 909. Bud is doing his thing. And they try to block out Bud. The PBC been trying to block him. They've been trying to block him. But after he put that beating on Errol Spence, it got out of their hands. Now Crawford is too popular. He's too famous. They can't block him. Angry Mexican. Bud's best win is Spence. And even Bud said he isn't a Hall of Famer. That doesn't matter. Bud Crawford is one of the most accomplished fighters of this era. That's the reality. You see, Angry Mexican, when you say his best win is this guy, that's meaningless. Only haters use that vocabulary. Oh, his best win is this guy and that guy. The accomplishments. You're forgetting the accomplishments. Your favorite fighters never been undisputed in 2 divisions. Your favorite fighters haven't won championships, titles in as many divisions as Terrence Crawford. Accomplishments. Look at the accomplishments. Learn. Boxing history looks at accomplishments. Unlaced, John, he's not that far off. He was spitting some facts. Ozzy, Spence beat everyone at 47. He can be in the Hall of Fame. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Angry Mexican, who you beat has to matter. No, who you beat has matter, but the point is that he beat a lot of good fighters. It's just that nobody ever gives him credit for it. So that's why I can't even go back and forth with that. I can't even tell you he beat Amir Khan. He beat Sean Porter. He beat this guy and that guy, because all you do is discredit all of the guys that he beat. He beat a lot of very good fighters. A lot. Consistently. Every fighter top Crawford faced in the last 6-7 years is highly ranked in every sanctioning body. Every fighter ranked in the top 5, top 6 of the sanctioning bodies. He's not fighting bums. But the hate for him is too real, so people act like he's fighting bums. So I'm not even going to argue about who he fought, because I understand that y'all just don't see the level of competition he beat. Y'all just don't get it. Look, David Avanesyan is a bum. He's not a bum, you see? That's because either you don't know boxing or you don't like Crawford. Either or. He's not a bum. That's not a fact. Hash Bash. PBC He's the one that gave us Spence versus Crawford, and Spence is the one who took a pay cut for us to see that fight. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff, Hash Bass. Angry Mexican. Virgil exposed Madrimov. Virgil exposed Madrimov by going the distance with him and losing multiple rounds and getting tagged up in his face. I don't know. You know, that's your point of view. Good stuff. But Madrimov went the distance with Virgil. Virgil be knocking everybody out. He could not stop Madrimov. Could not stop him. So if you say he exposed him, you got it, buddy. You got to be. Look, you got to be one of these new boxing fans that as soon as a guy doesn't get knocked out or doesn't win, he got exposed. He lost. He got exposed. You go around using that word exposed after everybody loses. That shit is just funny as hell, bro. This is the new social media boxing fan mentality. You watch a lot of boxing on social media and you become an expert. Talking about, he got exposed. What you mean he got exposed? He was in a competitive 12-round fight with one of the best fighters, one of the best young fighters of this era. And he got exposed? Okay, you got it, bro. He got exposed. If that's how you wanna express it. My peoples, I'm gonna have to finish this live. Before I finish it, I want to give a shout out to John Parham. Shout out to Unlaced, MAW, the Angry Mexican with your hating ass. Shout out to you too. Shout out to the biggest tank of maniac in this page, Hash Bass. My boy Ozzy, Motown 909. Everybody who came through to show me love. I appreciate you, my peoples. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm going to see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be on it. We're going to be talking boxing. You see it, man. This is Box Center. I'm Jay Smith. And this is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. I'll see you tonight, my peoples. Peace.